Key West, the Conch Republic, a land of six-toed cats, drag shows, and a civic model that promises radical inclusion. One human family. We're told this island is a bohemian anomaly, a tropical sanctuary that was too busy fishing and rolling cigars to succumb to the dark racial pathologies of the Deep South. But the geography of this island tells a different story. By digging deep into the property deeds, zoning laws, and fraternal ledgers of the 1920s, the one human family veneer shatters. In 1921, while the rest of Florida was gripped by rampant land booms and a terrifying surge in lynchings, Key West wasn't an escape from the terror. It was the headquarters. This document is the original charter for the Key West Ku Klux Klan, Klan of the Keys number 42. It doesn't list societal outcasts, uneducated fringe radicals, or rogue vigilantes. It lists the city's most celebrated doctors, its most powerful judges, and the patriarchs of the real estate dynasties who still own the island today. This isn't just a story about men in white hoods. It's a story about the hidden blueprints of an empire and how real estate, covert banking, and secret societies built the Key West we see in the brochures. To understand why the Klan rose to such absolute power here, you have to understand who they were terrified of. In 1920, Key West wasn't an isolated backwater. It was a highly organized node in a global network. The Black Bahamian and Afro-Caribbean residents of Little Africana, now Bahama Village, weren't just manual laborers. They were world-traveling mariners, shipbuilders, and tradesmen constantly exposed to the anti-colonial ideologies circulating through the West Indies. And they had their own deeply entrenched secret societies. Excluded from white banking and municipal support, the black community built a shadow economy through fraternal orders. Groups like the Grand United Order of Odd Fellows, the Knights of Pythias, and Prince Hall Freemasons operated out of church basements and community centers like Samaritan Hall at the corner of 7th and Whitehead Streets. These weren't just social clubs, they were mutual aid societies. They pooled capital, funded independent schools like the Frederick Douglass School, and provided a financial safety net entirely outside the control of the white establishment. Then in February 1921, this organized resistance found its catalyst. The legendary black nationalist Marcus Garvey arrived in Key West. Hosted by Reverend T.C. Glashan at his home on 318 Virginia Street, Garvey spoke for 3 nights at Samaritan Hall. Garvey didn't just preach civil rights, he preached absolute economic separation. He urged the black community to use their pooled fraternal wealth to buy stock in the Black Star Line, black-owned global shipping fleet. He was telling the highly skilled mariners and tradesmen of Key West to build their own economy. To the white elite, this wasn't a social nuisance, it was a declaration of economic war. If black laborers controlled their own supply chains and ships, the white monopoly on the local economy would collapse overnight. The white establishment's response was swift, ruthless, and highly organized. They didn't just form a mob, they formed as counter-society. Enter the exalted Cyclops, Dr. Joseph Yates Porter. To modern historians, he is celebrated as the father of public health in Florida, but in 1921 he was the chief executive of the Klan of the Keys. The KKK of the 1920s was fundamentally a fraternal order, heavily bureaucratized and obsessed with secrecy. And in Key West, it operated almost indistinguishably from mainstream respectable societies. The undisputed architect of this crossover was Charlie Henry Ketchum, a prominent real estate broker. Ketchum was not only the grand dragon of the Florida Ku Klux Klan, but from 1921 to 1923, he simultaneously served as the most worshipful Grand Master of the Masonic Grand Lodge of Florida. His dual leadership was the ultimate cover. The Klan utilized the physical meeting halls, the membership rosters, and the social prestige of legitimate fraternal orders to mask their domestic terrorism. A man could attend a respectable Masonic or Oddfellows lodge meeting in the evening, networking with the mayor and the police chief, and then seamlessly transition into a Clavern meeting to plan a cross burning. Ketchum publicly refused to disavow the Klan, arguing that a man's Klan affiliation was no different than his membership in the Knights of Pythias. By blending the invisible empire with legitimate civic fraternities, Ketchum made the Klan socially untouchable. But the true weapon of the Invisible Empire wasn't a burning cross. It was the bank ledger. The Klan's funding and support structures were seamlessly integrated into the municipal economy. The Clan of the Keys roster included William F. Maloney as the Claybee or treasurer, tapping the organization directly into the island's pharmaceutical and commercial wealth. Even more devastating was the Porter family's financial machinery. While Dr. Porter led the Clavern, his son, Willie Porter, was the president of the First National Bank and the head of the Key West Realty Company. A black business owner in Bahama Village was discovered donating to Garvey's UNIA or organizing a labor strike. The Klan didn't necessarily have to resort to violence. They simply made a phone call. First National Bank could instantly call in the dissident's mortgage. The Porter Allen Company could abruptly cancel their fire and marine insurance, rendering their fishing boats or cigar shops legally inoperable. This was the architecture of white supremacy, a perfect closed-loop system of economic strangulation. The Klan utilized the real estate companies to implement Caucasian-only deed restrictions on new developments like Flagler Avenue. They starved the black community of capital while physically restricting where they could live, systematically dismantling the economic independence the Garvey had sparked. How did they get away with it? By completely capturing the judiciary. The Caliph, or vice president of the Key West Klan, was none other than Judge J. Vining Harris. Harris resided at the opulent Southernmost House, a breathtaking Queen Anne Victorian mansion at the end of Duval Street. The Southernmost House functioned as a dual-purpose stronghold, a monument of extreme Gilded Age wealth by day, and the private residence of a Klan warlord by night. If a Klansman was ever arrested by the highly compromised police force, they would inevitably stand trial before Judge Harris. The system was rigged at the foundation. The law wasn't broken by the Klan. The law was the Klan. By the late 1940s, however, the Invisible Empire faced a critical problem. In the aftermath of World War II, overt mass violence was becoming a massive political and economic liability. The elite of Key West recognized that to maintain their wealth and pivot to a modern tourist economy, they needed a radical rebrand. They found their salvation in the most powerful man on earth, President Harry S. Truman. This is John Maloney Spotswood, the direct descendant of the 1921 Klan's treasurer, William F. Maloney. By 1946, John had evolved past secret societies. He was now the president's personal host. By facilitating the establishment of the Little White House as a presidential retreat, the Spotswood family successfully laundered their legacy on the national stage. They entertained Truman, posed for the press, and traded the white hood for the colorful conch shirt. By moving from the shadows of the Invisible Empire to the glare of the presidential circle, the legacy families secured a new untouchable status as the civic guardians of Key West. This rebranding wasn't just about social survival. It was a masterclass in wealth preservation. Today, you cannot walk through Old Town Key West without seeing the name Truman and Company on a multi-million-dollar real estate listing. It remains a closed loop of power. The descendants of the 1921 charter members, specifically the Spotswood team operating within Truman & Co., are the modern gatekeepers of the island. The names have evolved, but the monopoly remains intact. If you want to buy a piece of the Conch Republic, you are likely transacting with the exact same lineage that once dictated the exclusionary zone and zoning codes of the 1920s. They no longer need a secret society to control the geography of the island. They control the MLS listings, the zoning boards, and the development rights. In 2026, the power has simply digitized. Enter Brightwild. This hospitality giant dominates the modern short-term rental market in the Keys, specializing in the very historic properties once built by the Klan elite. And who leads Brightwild? Robert Spotswood Jr., the seventh generation of the Maloney Spotswood line. Even the public justice system is branded with this legacy. The Freeman Justice Center, where modern citizens go to seek the law, is named for Billy Freeman, the man whose family took over the Porter Allen insurance firm from the son of the Klan exalted Cyclops. From the courthouse to the vacation apps on your phone, the architecture of the 1921 Klan isn't just a memory, it's the infrastructure you're standing on. The Southernmost House is now a $400 a night boutique hotel. Tourists taking photos out front are told Judge Harris was a visionary founding father. They're never told he was the caliph of a terrorist organization. Key West is undeniably beautiful, but its beauty was financed, framed, and secured by families who knew the best way to hide an invisible empire was to paint it in pastel colors, invite a president over for a drink, and monopolize the real estate. The names on that 1921 charter haven't gone anywhere. Key West isn't an anomaly. It's a stark reminder that real estate is the most permanent form of power. And until we acknowledge the hands that drew the original blueprints, we're all just guests in someone else's empire.